Good evening and welcome to Resource PNG. In tonight's edition, we feature the IBBM Enterprise Center as an independent business unit, which is part of the PNG Institute of Banking and Business Management. Enterprise Center was established as an outcome of an agreement with the PNG LNG project, which funds all the management, activities and operations. Enterprise Center offers a variety of services for the local supplier development arm of the PNG LNG project to assist capacity building of PNG business, mainly the landowner companies. Here is Enterprise Center, how it was set up and the services it offers.
Established in March 2010 through an agreement with SO Highlands Limited, the Enterprise Center has contributed a considerable amount to the development and growth of landowner companies and PNG businesses throughout PNG during its 2.5 years of operation. A large database of supplier and potential suppliers to the PNG LNG project has been created, and more companies are seeking guidance on how they can improve their business operations through the assessment, training, advisory, and mentoring services that the Enterprise Center provides.
Look at the customer in the eye, okay? Look at the eye.
SO Highlands Limited recognizes that the project is more than just delivering LNG. It's also about developing people, capacity, and PNG in general. Wherever ExxonMobil works around the world, we have a national content plan designed to demonstrate good corporate citizenship, responsible development, and good business sense. The national content plan is essentially a citizenship commitment that is tailored for each country to help develop human, social, and economic capacity in a way that benefits people, communities, and businesses over the long term. The National Content Plan is built on 3 pillars which focus on providing sustainable businesses benefits through supplier development, workforce development, and strategic community investment. In Papua New Guinea, SO Highlands Limited has taken these 3 pillars and translated them into local commitments that fully consider the livelihoods and cultures of the local communities who reside in the project impact areas, as well as PNG at large. Under the supplier development, which is one of the 3 pillars of the National Content Plan, the project purchases local goods and services and build capacities of PNG businesses, in particular the landowner companies. The project has established the Enterprise Center concept in partnership with IBBM. The Enterprise Center's main role is to build the capacities of the landowner companies and PNG businesses through training, mentoring, and advisory services, as well as connecting Papua New Guinea businesses and the landowner companies with the project.
Ray Clark, who has been involved with the Enterprise Center since inception, is proud of its achievements.
Well, the first achievement was getting it up and running on time. The second achievement was to be able to, over the years, attract some very talented staff. We have met the targets that SO Highlands set us in respect to establishing the database, getting the interest of companies who, the Lanco companies and other companies that wanted to get involved in the PNG LNG project. And quite a lot of the companies have benefited considerably by the services that the Enterprise Centre has been able to contribute.
So how does the Enterprise Center provide opportunities for business growth and development? It does this through the provision of Project Information Center, the PNG LNG supplier database and dashboard for web-based sourcing, business assessment services, business improvement plans, management and business training advisory and mentoring services.
Stay with us on this special edition of the Enterprise Center, as we'll be right back with more. Welcome back to the program in which we feature the Enterprise Center. Earlier on, we heard about why the organization was set up. In this next lineup, we find out the type of services it offers.
Let us take a closer look at each of these services and how some local companies have benefited from each service. The Project Information Center aims to establish and enhance communication between all PNG LNG stakeholders. The Project Information Center has facilities to cater for this need that include meeting rooms, free internet, telephones, printing, and photocopying facilities. The team also offers mentoring and advisory services with the aim of sustaining businesses and encouraging growth. More and more women are taking advantage of these services.
This resulted from the Women in Business initiative that was taken by several leading women advocates, women in business advocates. And out of that, we arranged meetings with the landowner groups, particularly targeting the women. And we've been successful in securing interested women, particularly the women associations from the respective villages, particularly the LNG plant site in the Central Province, attending training as well as trying to seek business advice. Very basic tasks that or interests that they want us to address in terms of taking advantage of the opportunities the PNG LNG project have provided for them.
The team maintains a database of local suppliers. There are 1,300 companies currently registered. This registration process is in line with Esso Highlands Limited National Content Plan. Registration on the database gives companies the edge to get project contracts. Enterprise Center's PNG LNG Supplier Database Coordinator, Miss Ali Claire Aribi, is responsible for this.
Well, the PNG LNG Supplier Database is free to all PNG companies, and it's a service provided by Esso Highlands Limited under the National Content Plan. So we advise that all Papua New Guineans should take part because this is a first of its kind in Papua New Guinea, and we're very excited and would like also all Papua New Guinean companies to come join us to benefit from the Enterprise Center and also Esso Highlands Limited as a whole. In my career as a young Papua New Guinean female, it has helped me a lot. I also get to meet Papua New Guinean businessmen and women, and it's a very exciting role in the PNG LNG project.
A company that has registered on the database and has a lot to do with LNG project is Laba Holding Limited.
Well, I think it should be an ongoing interface with the Enterprise Center and Laba and other companies such as Laba in the medium to long term in terms of exposure of Laba to the business world and particularly to similar projects that are coming on board around Papua New Guinea. Laba needs that exposure and with Enterprise Center's assistance, I think in future we will have no problem, and that this continuing dialogue and interface with the Enterprise Center should continue and should be great benefit to Laba and to Enterprise Center as well.
We will continue on with that story after this short break. The Enterprise Center is an initiative of the PNG LNG project set up to assist capacity building of PNG businesses. We will continue on with the story from where we left.
When clients register on the database, there is a need for these businesses to be assessed to meet the standards that Esso Highlands Limited has set. Enterprise Center helps in this regard. One of the assessors is Stanley Thomas.
For the past 1 year, we have been dealing with assisting local companies out here in Papua New Guinea to help build their capacities in terms of what we do is we try to identify where the companies stand as of now through business assessment. It is based on Enterprise Center's philosophy of continuous improvement, where what we try to do is start off with a business assessment, we do a gap analysis, then we come up with a business improvement plan, and based on which we decide what training, mentoring or advisory services that we can provide the company. My learning would be like I got to learn about different companies and various industries out here in Papua New Guinea, which is a different experience altogether. Compared to my background, like I've worked in Philippines and in India, but compared to that here, it's been quite different. The companies are the standards which they follow, because as part of business assessment, we compare companies or benchmark companies against international best practices with regard to policies and procedures. So assisting companies out has been quite interesting here.
The Enterprise Center wants to make sure that every business on their database gets the right kind of training. An assessment is the best way to find out where their needs are.
Well, I would say my achievement has been assessing the landowner companies, because landowner companies play a vital role in the project areas. We try to understand the skill gaps and the shortages as far as capacity building of those companies are concerned. We try to identify the gaps in those companies, and then we come up with a business improvement plan. As a part of the business improvement plan, we try to scout opportunities and try to match their capacities with the, requirements of the LNG project.
The assessment process covers several areas, including organization and governance, business management, financial management, HR management, fixed asset management and inventory control, safety, health and environment management, quality control, reputation and image. The companies that were involved in this assessment saw this as a need that could help build more efficient and sustainable businesses.
Definitely, I recommend other businesses to work with the Enterprise Center for their own benefit. Similarly, Lab has worked with the Enterprise Center in the last couple of years, and they really have benefited through their engagement and interaction with the Enterprise Center.
If we want to be competitive in this day and age, we need to have this kind of certification, the ISO certification. And because we are now, for our business, we are now in the line to be assessed by IBBM Enterprise Center. And this assessment will take us to the next level. It will show us what gaps we have and how we can close those gaps. And especially with the ISO certification, which is our next goal, to obtain or attain that, we need to have our business assessed. And then from there, we can move on to the ISO certification.
A pretty bit tough. We are not even there yet. We need to do a lot of things to get there. But hopefully, probably next LNG project or down the line, we should benefit. But IBBM, what they are doing is, Enterprise Center, what they are doing is, they help us for future. And not now, because we're not even there. But other businesses, yes, they can be there. But with the petroleum industry, it's big, huge, and you need to meet all those little things. Standards must be in place to really involve in that business. But as for me, it's tough because I can't break through. But I hope that we are a merchant company, and maybe 5-10 years down the line, we should be there.
Well, going through the assessment procedure was good for us because it confirmed that many of our current practices were right on track, and we were acting and working responsibly. It confirmed that we were compliant with all sorts of government regulations from IPA to IRC and so on. But it also helped us to identify areas that we needed to improve on. So that helped us tremendously.
It is one thing to start a business, but another to sustain it. And in order to ensure the sustainability of a business, training is a must.
Well, in today's world, everyone needs to be a skilled worker. From the receptionist to the high school education to the CFO with an MBA degree, the entire workforce has become a skill landscape. And therefore, that means everybody needs a continuous training, no matter whatever position they are in. A continuous training, a continuous learning process is very much required for everybody in an organization. When there are gaps in the skilled workforce, gaps caused by lack of training, then automatically work becomes inefficient and money is lost. Training is such an important aspect for any organization growth. Training not only motivates the employees, but it also helps in contributing to the organization's success. We have provided several training for Lancos, the landowner companies, and several PNG businesses. The training includes, our training includes sections like business basics, directors training, and several soft skill workshops, which reminds people about the basic things they need to understand in their day-to-day workforce. Things like customer service, time management, all these are just few important workshops which we conduct at Enterprise Center. These are very important short workshops conducted here just to understand, help the employees understand that the simple tips of customer service and time management skills would help them to manage their time so effectively and improve their performance.
Training of such has been helping a lot of companies in these areas.
IBM and Enterprise Center have assisted LABA a lot in its establishment in the early days, and up until now we have been assisted by IBM and the Enterprise Center in terms of business assessment and in terms of training of our directors, and in terms of training our village people in how to manage, organize business activities at the micro level, at the village level. In terms of assistance to LABA, we have had a lot of assistance from them in terms of training of directors and a lot of our own admin staff here at LABA.
If organizations have to survive and prosper in the face of a rapid change, they need to be more flexible, faster moving, and faster learning than ever before. And hence, training is not an option. It is essential for everybody in the organization.
Very interesting to know how these PNG businesses are benefiting. We'll go for another quick break. Don't go too far, as there's more coming up. The Enterprise Center helps the PNG LNG project to build capacities of PNG businesses, develops and enhances the business skills of Papua New Guineans in order to be engaged in some form of business activity with the PNG LNG project. Here's more on the story.
One such company is Emmy's Bakery and Catering Services.
Emmy's Bakery and Catering Services was established in 2004. And basically because of our love for food, and we wanted to share that experience with others as well. Currently for the PNG LNG project, we only cater for Exxon, and whichever organizations or clients that Exxon wants us to cater for, only for this facility, the Port Moresby Construction Training Facility. So at the moment, we only cater for Exxon. Especially in terms of training, they've come up and given us advice regarding that as well. And so that's in terms of making sure our business is well-grounded. And on top of that, in terms of other services that they've provided us, the LNG supplier database, which has been really helpful for us because it has identified registered suppliers, so we don't go and just engage someone who is not registered with the Enterprise Center. They have to be registered, so that as part of Exxon's requirement, you need to conduct business with people who are registered with the Enterprise Center. And we've also gone and attended the ISO training, which is this was the first type of training which IBM Enterprise Center brought to Papua New Guinea, and it was a two-part training. One was the quality management systems, and the other one was the occupational health and safety. So this was a very vital training. Now it's given us the opportunity to be able to prepare ourselves in terms of documentation to follow the ISO certification process and understand how we need to get to the ISO certification level. So that training has been really great for us, and IBBM Enterprise Center has really assisted us by including us, giving us the opportunity to attend the training. Really vital for us because we've got all my staff, and I've got 16 staff, and they've all attended the basic food safety course, and they've also done the, for the supervisors and management, we've done the advanced food safety course, and we've also had staff attend first aid training. They've done some bit of fire training, because fire is important, especially in a kitchen environment. So we've done that training as well, and we've got staff that have done the chemical training as well. And with that, it's taught me and my staff, my team, that food safety is very important. And ExxonMobil has emphasized that safety is one of the big issues. So this is something we've come to learn, and we have had to abide by.
The Enterprise Center has helped another company, Bigger Petroleum. They started from humble beginnings to become a major player in the petroleum supply chain in the southern region.
Bigger Petroleum we started in 2005. That was, we started back at the house that we have a residential area at all the states for. This is where we started, and we got registered in 2005. And I actually worked for British Petroleum as a storeman. I worked from the gate right through to leading and supervisor, and then into office as a dispatch clerk. And I see that there's a need for small clients, like they purchase 1 or 2 drums. You know, we have clients outside of NCDC towards Daru and Kikori, Baimuru. And the company we called Fuel Drum Management Service initially. It's not Bigger Petroleum. We just changed the company recently. It was Fuel Drum Management Service, because dealing with fuel, you know, take them to the wharf. I look after all those deliveries and freight, and they just put their money into their account, just manage their drums. And this is how we got started.
Let's hear what these PNG companies have to say about the Enterprise Center services.
Being a company in the petroleum business, standards are a must. There are standards for anything. Mr. John Bigger saw that they had to make sure they had the right training for the right people, and the Enterprise Center helped with this.
Yeah, well, just recently, one of our staff attended the training, ISO training. We're looking at second batch as well. We try to, you know, because to deal with petroleum standard, you have to have standards and compliance. So that's the thing that we talked about, and then we try to, you know, build our own standards here, because we can't get it from Interoil or Mobile, because we have to, you know, suit our business. We must have these standards, because when you try to do business with a well-established company, they will look at your standards, and if you don't have this one in place, I don't think you will get business. With other businesses, okay, but with the petroleum business, it's quite big, and you have to meet all the nitty-gritty to be in there. There's so many local businesses. It's really hard to get in there. I mean, to get business from well-established companies. But what IBBM is doing is, it's it's helping the national company, and there are some companies are here, but they haven't met the standard. But what they are doing is, I think that they're helping us. They're helping us to be in there, get as much as we can in terms of training, have a broader knowledge, so that when we're trying to get business within the country or outside, probably at least we need to meet standards.
Another service that the Enterprise Centre offers is mentoring service. This is to help companies to build stronger businesses.
I'd just like to say that I'm very proud to have been associated with the Enterprise Centre since we contracted with SO Highlands in January 2010, and it has achieved remarkable results, I believe, in the 2 years and 6 months that it's been in place. And going forward, it'll be very an essential organisation for the continuing development of small businesses throughout Papua New Guinea.
The companies that have registered with the Enterprise database think that it is a good thing that others should follow suit in order to create sustainable businesses.
Yeah, of course. I think that helping a small business to comply and meet the standards to other clients, so as well as us too.
Well, we are working on strategies on how we will operate LABA in the coming years to be able to sustain itself after the construction phase is over. So there are plans or strategies in place where we want LABA to be in the next 10, 15, 20 years.
Well, it's interesting to see what they do in the business community. I was particularly impressed at the way they're trying to assist PNG entrepreneurs and local businessmen and women. I think it's a fairly significant step and an effective way of helping Papua New Guineans get some benefit from this LNG project.
This, we believe, will ensure that landowner companies and other PNG businesses build and strengthen their management and operations capabilities that will enable them to compete for contracts with the project and other business opportunities within or outside the country in the long term. We are therefore proud of our continued partnership with the Enterprise Centre and the impact that the organization is having on the development of local PNG businesses and our landowner companies.
After the break, we have a presentation by the Managing Director of IBBM's Enterprise Centre, Sweta Sood. We have told you about what the Enterprise Centre does. A specific area it focuses on is its supplier database. Here is IBBM's Enterprise Centre Managing Director, Sweta Sood, who talks a little more about that.
Just a quick introduction of the IBBM Enterprise Centre. And as she said, 15 years of working in the oil and gas sector, and there has been one single oil and gas company which I have come across, ExxonMobil, and very fortunate of them to be doing the PNG LNG project in the country, the largest ever, and which is going to change the economic situation of the country. What they have done, not just for the economy, but for the local business community is what I stand. They have thought about developing the suppliers or developing the local demand by investing 22 million kinas into establishing something what is called as the Enterprise Centre. Usually these enterprise centers or small business development centers, they are funded by government. But with the lack of infrastructure in the country, SO Highlands, which is a subsidiary of ExxonMobil, thought that we have to build something and leave a platform or leave a center which goes beyond the project as well. So it's not for a personal motive that because they want to develop local suppliers, they establish enterprise center. The motive was they want to develop suppliers for the entire gas, mining and resource sector, so that they can be, again, the cost sharing comes with sharing suppliers coming from the homeland. So that was the objective. That was the vision or the thought of establishing enterprise center, and which will be one of the case studies I will be speaking on during the course. So the enterprise center has been set up as a 5-year contract basis, but the Institute of Banking and Business Management, under whose umbrella the enterprise center has been set up, we have a vision of taking it much beyond the 5 years, taking it much beyond the PNG LNG projects, because we have LNG2, LNG3 coming up, more gas and mining projects coming up, primarily because we see the need for the country. We see that the country needs an open, a transparent platform for supplier development. And this is where it makes my task really, really difficult, is that we're not talking about supplier relationship or supplier management. We are way beyond. I mean, those things are way beyond. We have to start from supplier development. And when IIR conferences contacted me and said, would you like to speak on successful supplier development strategies? Well, what is successful? So I thought to myself, and I said, how can I present successful supplier development strategies in a nutshell on this forum? And to begin with that, I have to define what is successful in a short span of time. So what is successful in PNG is what is workable, what is executable, what is deliverable is what is successful, is what I will be talking about today, is what are the workable supplier development strategies, or which can bring benefit for the project as well as for the community. When a project like PNG LNG comes to the country, it builds up a lot of expectations. And those expectations, by a domino effect, gets passed on to the local suppliers. The government has an expectation from the project to deliver, to extract gas on time, within budget, brings down to the contractors. The contractors pass that expectation of delivery down to the subcontractors. Subcontractors pass them down to the local suppliers. Local suppliers then joint venture with overseas companies and pass them down to them. And it's a domino effect. The request for a good execution, good delivery, being able to deliver gets passed on through the supply chain. But what gets missed on, or what is the key of the supplier development area here is that local supplier part. That local supplier who still has limited capacities, who still has to deliver, who still has to meet the vast growing opportunities, who still has to meet demands of feeding 15,000 people a day in a camp, or securing a plant site with providing security services, or providing 20 buses in a day to transport from the plant site to the town. These are opportunities which are much beyond than the local supplier had perceived, but yet he has to deliver. And how does he deliver? He delivers through the help or the assistance of supplier development programs. They are embedded, supplier development programs are embedded in the management, in the execution part of local suppliers, which are a critical area of helping them develop. And how we do that is one thing, since this video is almost a year old, so it was talking primarily about PNG LNG, but you can extrapolate that to all gas and mining resource sector, because the enterprise center is now open for all gas, mining, government resource sectors to build and develop their suppliers on the similar platform, on the same platform. So again, this helps to come out with programs, come out with trainings. As Nikki said, they have the program between Australia and PNG now to transfer trainings. So to come out with trainings which directly help the supplier to build their capacity, which helps them build their team, helps them build their management, and even helps them build themselves technologically by implementing small systems like MYOB accounting package, or a web-based sourcing package, or a web-based reporting and documentation, package, or by helping them with ISO certifications, or by helping them with fire and safety or occupational health and safety requirements from the, and these are big projects for local suppliers to big demands for local suppliers to meet. And this is where this sandwiched layer of a supplier development agency like Enterprise Center helps to bridge that gap. Another very interesting part is which is the reason why we are here, a networking, a connection, getting on to what is a supplier database. First thing the projects they come is, okay, let me see what can I source locally. Because if I can source locally, I can cut my costs, and that is one of my KPIs. They're all running on business targets. They want the shortest possible delivery. They want the cheapest possible price available in the country. So what they come and ask us is, can you give me a list of suppliers who can do pipe fabrication or fittings or supply quarries or supply transportation? And that was when we identified that there was a need of an online database. Yes, there are yellow pages. Yes, there are B2B directories. But what differentiates them from project databases is project database is validated. That is the biggest difference between freely available commercial yellow pages versus this thing. And also it's online with limited access and structured. So it gives you can list down construction companies providing, say, mooring services in plant site or LNG site coming from Leh provincial area or coming from and this is the most valuable asset, is having a structured and validated database of suppliers. It is quite basic. When we sit here in Cairns and think, we said, oh, a supply database is quite basic. Of course, all projects should have it, but it is a challenge in PNG to list all suppliers onto online, because they still do not have access to computers and internet and register, and the knowledge to register themselves online. And this is the task which the Enterprise Center provides. And coming back to the key topic, the primary topic is the local supplier development, which is the support services. The two important parts of the supplier development is, first we have to know the supplier. Yeah, we know who he is, but do we know how good he is? Can we trust him or her to be able to deliver on a high risk or key delivery requirement of the project? So what the Enterprise Center helps the projects is by providing them a neutral 3-star rating. So we conduct business assessments of the local suppliers, and you have to be on the ground to do that. We spend 6 days with each of the PNG company who are registered for the project or who are already potential suppliers to the projects, by assessing them on eight health checks or 8 business criteria relating to financial, inventory, assets, fixed assets, or safety, health and environment. And we give them a neutral rating. The outcome of these ratings are put down in an assessment brochure, and we have come out with 2 this thing. And these have only, the common thing you will see is they cover PNG owned companies. So the companies which are owned and have more than 50% stakeholder shareholding from PNG nationals are covered in this, which is what we mean by local supplier development when we're talking about. And this is critical for the project to involve local suppliers. And why it's critical is because they have to meet their targets to the government, their obligations to the government in terms of Oil and Gas Act, in terms of gas agreement. When a project operates in the country, it is committed to the government that we will build local suppliers. We will help develop the capacity of local suppliers, and this is where this is the execution platform of that national content reporting. So in doing that, we conduct events, workshops, village road shows, training, advisory. These are the tools. And I don't need to, on this platform with such learned people today, we don't need to go through the tools of supply development. We all know that. The challenge is the execution and the delivery part of it. Yes, we all can provide, we do provide trainings, advisory, mentoring, consulting services, but what is key today is what is successful or what is workable in the country, or what leads to successful supplier development. Yes, you can provide trainings and this thing, but you have to be focused enough to that particular supplier need, or to the particular phase of the project. Like construction is the phase of the project, construction is the phase in which most projects are now. So we provide specific trainings on ISO, on occupational health and safety and environment, different training days. And to bring it back to the summary of why supplier development strategies are successful, or why they are required in the first place, is because of the legal requirement. I mentioned section, to be specific, is section E and section 129 of the Oil and Gas Agreement, which requires all projects to do a national content reporting. And national content reporting is nothing but how much have you spent on supplier development, how many local workforce have you employed, how many local suppliers have been involved in supplying to the project. That is a reporting of national content, which is a mandatory requirement of operating in the country under the license of a gas agreement, and which comes down to landowner development. Again, because the resources are primarily owned by landowners, and landowners have organized themselves as landowner companies. So the supplier development is primarily 80% focused on developing landowner companies.
And this brings us to the end of our program. Thank you for staying with us. For more information on the program, you can email us, resourcepng@mtv.com.pg. And if you would like to watch more of our shows, do check out the MTV online site, www.emtv.com.pg, and go to our Resource PNG page. Until then, have a pleasant rest of the evening. God bless.